The holographic display flickered with an intensity that made Dr. Naomi Rise lean forward, her breath catching in her throat. Quantum fluctuations danced across the screen like wild, unpredictable lightning, defying every known law of physics. "This can't be real," she muttered, her fingers flying across the holographic interface, recalibrating sensors and cross-checking data streams. The International Space Research Station hummed with a tense, electric atmosphere. Outside the reinforced observation windows, Earth hung like a blue-green jewel against the infinite blackness of space. But something was wrong. Very wrong. Naomi had dedicated her entire career to understanding the fundamental mysteries of quantum mechanics. She'd written groundbreaking papers, developed revolutionary detection algorithms, and was considered one of the most innovative physicists of her generation. Yet nothing in her extensive research had prepared her for the anomaly now unfolding before her eyes. The quantum signatures were unlike anything she'd ever seen. They didn't just break the rules of known physics, they rewrote them entirely. "Dr. Reyes," a voice crackled through the station's communication system. It was Dr. Marcus Hendricks, her research partner and longtime colleague. "Are you seeing this?" Before she could respond, another series of quantum fluctuations erupted across her display. The patterns were too precise, too intentional to be random. Something was generating these signals, something incredibly advanced and potentially not of human origin. "Marcus," Naomi said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins, "I need you to initiate emergency protocol Omega 7. These readings, they suggest we're not alone." The station's ambient lighting shifted from soft white to a cautionary amber, signaling the activation of high-alert security protocols. Naomi knew that within minutes, every major scientific and military institution on Earth would be analyzing the data streaming from her station. What she didn't know, what no one on Earth could yet comprehend, was that these quantum anomalies were more than just a scientific curiosity. They were a harbinger of something much larger, a cosmic message that would challenge humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. As if responding to her thoughts, another wave of quantum energy pulsed through the station's sensors. This time, the pattern was unmistakable. It wasn't random. It was a communication, a first contact that would change everything. Preparing initial analysis report, Naomi spoke into her communication device, her scientific mind already dissecting the incredible data. "Quantum signature confirms non-terrestrial origin. Complexity beyond current human technological capabilities." Outside, the stars seemed to watch silently, holding their breath for what would come next. The underground command center of Earth's Advanced Defense Headquarters was a symphony of controlled chaos. Holographic displays flickered with incoming data, and the low hum of advanced computing systems filled the air. At the center of it all stood Captain Jeremiah Wolf, his weathered hands clasped behind his back, steel-gray eyes scanning the quantum anomaly reports that had just arrived from the International Space Research Station. "This is beyond anything we've ever encountered," Dr. Elena Kaminsky, the lead scientific advisor, explained. Her fingers danced across a transparent data interface, pulling up complex quantum signatures that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly intelligence. Jeremiah had seen his share of impossible scenarios during his 2 decades of space fleet service. He'd navigated through asteroid fields, survived multiple alien encounter protocols, and led countless rescue missions. But this was different. The quantum signatures suggest a communication method we can't even begin to comprehend. Dr. Kaminsky continued. "It's not just a signal. It's almost like an invitation." A bitter laugh escaped Jeremiah's lips. An invitation. More like a warning. The room fell silent. Everyone knew what remained unspoken. These quantum anomalies were unlike any previous extraterrestrial communications. They were precise, complex, and carried an underlying threat that made the most seasoned space veterans nervous. "We need the Nexus Protocol," Jeremiah announced suddenly, turning to face the assembled team of scientists and military strategists. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the room. The Nexus Protocol was more of a theoretical concept than an actual defense strategy, a last resort option that involved weaponizing quantum entanglement in ways that pushed the boundaries of human scientific understanding. Dr. Kaminsky stepped forward, her holographic displays shifting to show complex mathematical equations and quantum field simulations. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical. We're talking about manipulating fundamental quantum interactions at a scale never attempted before. Jeremiah's expression remained unchanged. We don't have a choice. Whatever is generating these signals is far beyond our current technological capabilities. If we don't adapt, we become obsolete. The next few hours were a blur of intense scientific collaboration. Quantum physicists, theoretical mathematicians, and advanced weapons specialists worked in perfect synchronization. They were no longer just developing a defense strategy. They were rewriting the fundamental rules of engagement. The core of the Nexus Protocol, Dr. Kaminsky explained, involves creating a quantum resonance field that can effectively communicate on the same frequency as these anomalous signals. Jeremiah watched the simulations, his mind racing through potential scenarios. This wasn't just about defense anymore. This was about survival. As night fell outside the heavily fortified facility, the team continued their work. Massive energy generators hummed to life, drawing power from experimental fusion reactors. Quantum containment chambers were prepared, their exotic materials designed to withstand interactions that would typically tear apart conventional matter. "We're ready for the first simulation," a young technician announced, her voice a mixture of excitement and terror. Jeremiah stepped closer to the primary quantum interface. Whatever was coming, humanity would meet it on its own terms. "Initiate Nexus Protocol," he commanded. The room erupted in a symphony of technological precision, quantum fields beginning to dance in patterns never before witnessed by human eyes. The experimental weapons facility rose from the desert like a mirage of technological brilliance. Metallic structures gleamed under the harsh sunlight, their angular design hinting at the cutting-edge research happening within. Lieutenant Aria Rodriguez stood at the primary control station, her fingers hovering above a holographic interface that seemed to breathe with quantum potential. "Quantum stabilization at 78%, a computerized voice announced. The room hummed with an electric tension that made the air feel thick and charged. Aria had never considered herself a typical weapons specialist. Her background in theoretical quantum mechanics set her apart from most military personnel. Where others saw destruction, she saw the intricate dance of fundamental forces, a complex language waiting to be understood. The weapon they were preparing to test wasn't a conventional missile or energy beam. It was something far more revolutionary, a quantum resonance device designed to exploit the very fabric of space-time. "Final system checks complete," called out Dr. Rafael Moreno, the lead quantum engineer. His hands moved with practiced precision, calibrating systems that looked more like scientific instruments than weapons of war. Aria's mind drifted to the quantum anomalies that had triggered this entire project. The signals discovered by the International Space Research Station had been more than just a random occurrence. They were a message, a challenge from something beyond human comprehension. "Initiating quantum coherence sequence," she announced, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. The facility's massive power generators began to pulse, drawing energy from experimental fusion reactors that lined the underground complex. Holographic displays showed quantum particles dancing in intricate patterns, defying traditional understanding of physics. "Containment fields at maximum," Dr. Moreno reported. "We have approximately 3 minutes of stable quantum interaction before potential system breakdown." Aria watched the quantum field take shape. It wasn't a weapon in the traditional sense. It was more like a language, a method of communication that could potentially disrupt or redirect quantum interactions. Suddenly, the holographic displays flickered. A pattern emerged, complex, intricate, almost like a living mathematical equation. "We're detecting an unexpected quantum resonance," a technician called out, panic edging into his voice. Aria leaned forward. The quantum field wasn't just responding to their tests. It seemed to be communicating something. Patterns within patterns suggested an intelligence far beyond human understanding. "Hold position," she commanded. "Do not interrupt the quantum sequence." The room held its collective breath. Outside, the desert landscape remained unchanged, unaware of the potentially world-altering experiment happening beneath its surface. Minutes stretched like hours. The quantum field pulsed, shifted, revealed glimpses of complex interactions that suggested something profound was happening. "Quantum coherence at critical point," the computer announced. Dr. Moreno looked at Arya, a mix of fear and excitement in his eyes. "We're about to cross a threshold no human has ever approached before." As the quantum field reached its peak intensity, the very air seemed to vibrate with potential. Something was about to change, not just in their understanding of weapons, but in humanity's comprehension of reality itself. Deep space stretched before the observation deck like an infinite canvas of darkness. Dr. Victor Novak studied the holographic star charts, his weathered hands tracing the potential trajectories of the approaching alien fleet. The experimental quantum weapon developed by Lieutenant Rodriguez represented humanity's last hope, a technological Hail Mary against an enemy that had seemed invincible. "Incoming transmission," the ship's AI announced. The communication systems crackled with an energy that suggested something far beyond traditional radio waves. Victor remembered the journey that had brought humanity to this moment. The quantum anomalies, the desperate research, the breakthrough at the desert facility, all of it had been leading to this singular point of potential extinction or survival. The alien fleet appeared on the long-range scanners, a massive constellation of ships that defied conventional understanding of space travel. Their vessels seemed to fold and unfold space itself, moving with a fluidity that made traditional propulsion look primitive. "Quantum resonance weapon is charged," Lieutenant Commander Kai Williams reported from the weapons control station. "Waiting on your command, Dr. Novak." Victor took a deep breath. The weapon they had developed wasn't designed to destroy in the traditional sense. It was a quantum communication device, a way to potentially disrupt the fundamental interactions that allowed the alien ships to move and exist. "Initiate quantum communication sequence," he commanded. The ship's quantum drive hummed to life. Unlike traditional weapons, this was more of a precise surgical instrument, designed to communicate through the varied fabric of space-time. The first alien ship responded immediately. Its hull seemed to shimmer, becoming translucent, and then solid again, a visual representation of its ability to manipulate reality itself. "They're attempting to establish contact," the ship's AI reported. "Translation protocols are struggling to interpret the quantum communication." Victor watched as complex mathematical patterns began to form between their ship and the alien vessel. It was less a battle and more a conversation, a high-stakes dialogue conducted through the language of quantum mechanics. "The aliens are responding to our quantum signature," Lieutenant Williams said, his voice a mixture of awe and terror. "They're analyzing us." The space between the ships began to warp. Quantum fields danced, creating intricate patterns that suggested communication far beyond human comprehension. It wasn't about destruction anymore. It was about understanding. "They're offering an alternative," Victor realized suddenly. The quantum communication was revealing something unexpected, not a declaration of war, but a potential for mutual comprehension. The alien fleet began to reconfigure. Their ships moved in patterns that suggested negotiation rather than aggression. The quantum weapon had done something no conventional military strategy could have achieved. It had created a bridge of understanding. "Prepare for potential first contact protocol," Victor commanded, his voice steady. As the quantum fields continued their intricate dance, humanity stood on the precipice of a new era. The weapon they had developed was not a tool of destruction, but a key to unlocking communication with a civilization so advanced it had seemed incomprehensible. The stars watched silently as two civilizations prepared to meet, not through conflict, but through the universal language of quantum mechanics.